It's Tina Hogan Grant with my Cuppa A Natter. I like to do these twice a month. All right, we're live. Twice a month on a Monday. You think I have it down by now. I like to bring authors into my home. We talk about reading, writing, life as an author, and whatever comes to mind. And this evening, I have the wonderful Anne Newman, who also goes by the pen name Cate Touryan. How are you this evening?
I am great, and I'm very happy to be here in your home with this conversation, Tina. Thank you.
You are welcome. You would think I'd have that intro down by now. I don't know how many chats I've done. And it was just like a brain freeze, I swear. But anyways, I'm excited to talk to you and have you here in my home. Before we get started talking about your book, which I understand is a debut, and it is called, what is your book called?
It is called Turning Toward Eden.
This is your debut, correct?
Yes.
Congratulations. We're going to talk about that. But can you just give us a little background on anything you want to share with the rest of the world?
Okay, I can do that. So this is my debut book. I'm very excited today because it was published last May, but just today I got the version with a dust jacket, which is so cool because it just came in the mail, and it's got a front flap, and it's got the in the back flap, and then it just was like, oh, I got it on the same day that I'm talking to Tina. How exciting!
That is so cool. So you have a hardback edition too.
Yeah. So I have the dust jacket edition, and then an actual laminate hardback as well, and then the paperback. So yeah, I'm like, wow, I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, and the cool thing about the dust jacket is you get to add all this stuff that's not in the other ones.
That's true. That's very true. And I love hardbacks. I do. I mean, yes, they are bigger and stuff, but on the bookshelf, they just look fabulous. And when I buy a hardback, it's because of the cover and because, of course, I love the authors too, but for whatever reason, hardbacks just really stand out on a bookshelf.
I know. I agree. I was so excited when we got that option. And of course, I got the book with the dust jacket, and I had to immediately take it off and see if they actually wrote the title on the spine. They did. Isn't that cool? I just thought it was so cool.
So your debut is in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audio.
And audio, yes.
We're going to talk about that too. Okay. I apologize if you said this, but now when did this book come out?
It was last May 2025. So I just had a 1-year book birthday last month.
Yeah. Congratulations. So I've got to ask you, number one, how long did it take you to write this book?
Well, I started this book probably 25 years ago. And I kept picking it up and setting it down, picking it up and setting it down. I had a full career. I had kids I was homeschooling and raising. I was writing a lot because I actually have a degree I have a bachelor's and a master's in English. So I was doing a lot of writing, but it was short fiction or creative nonfiction.
Okay.
Not the novel. So the novel kept kind of getting put up on the shelf. But I was still writing, doing a lot of writing. And then I was teaching writing. I teach writing for the university level, for professionals. I teach tech writing, academic writing, business writing. I work for the government. So I just had like this busy career. And when my husband retired, we were up in Sacramento. We moved back to my hometown, which is San Luis Obispo. And I don't think I'm too far from you probably, Tina, because here I'm on the Central Coast. And I think you're kind of in Central California.
You're about 2 to 3 hours north of me.
Okay. Yeah. So this was my hometown, and we were gone for 30 years to Sacramento. When he retired and came back, I said, okay, I'm going to let go of a lot of my contracts and a lot of my classes, and I'm going to finish that novel. So I finally, don't give up, anybody out there. Don't give up.
That's so true. I mean, it reminds me of my book, Reckless Beginnings. My debut, I had the idea in my 20s, and it was finally published in my 50s. So I can totally relate. I can.
You're right there.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you had quite the background when it comes to writing. So it's natural that you need to write a book. You should write a
Oh
book.
yeah, I always knew I would write a book. But I have found that I am probably harder on myself than any students that I ever had. It's like my standards are so high.
That's good though. That's good. You got to be critical of yourself.
I guess, but I'm glad I mean, I'm just like, oh, if I could just treat myself like I treat my students. I'm pretty hard on myself, which is probably why it took as long as it did, because I kind of have to live up to, I have to live up to the fact that I'm a professional. I'm an editor. I'm a professional editor, and I'm an instructor, and I have to live up to that. So I had to spend some time to make sure it was going to, I wasn't going to embarrass myself. So yeah.
Well, I like that. I really do. Now, what inspired this book many, many years ago?
So it is it's a kind of a genre fusion book. So it's cross genre. It's not easy to label. It's a little bit coming of age. It's a little bit mystery. It takes place in 1971. So it's considered historical. So the historical now is 1975 and before. So my book is historical. I feel very historical because I was around too.
That's my favorite eras, the 70s and 80s. And now that is known as historical.
It's historical fiction. Yes.
Oh my Lord, I feel old.
I know. It's like, oh my goodness. So it's considered historical, coming of age, mystery, a little bit of, it has a faith element, but I did not market it as a Christian fiction book because it's just a story that has that element because there's a little bit of a faith arc in the main character. And I think what inspired it is that it's set in a fictional Avila Beach, which is an actual beach here on the coast. Mm-hmm. And in 1971, I was the same age as the protagonist, as the main character. And I remember that it makes such an impact. It's such an impression when you're growing up and you hit those teen ages. She's 14 years old and we had just moved here. So a lot of that was those experiences. I kind of wanted my character to go through those kinds of experiences. So in the sense of doing research, I didn't have to do a lot of research. I just had to remember what it was like living here and Avila Beach, 10 minutes away, and spending my summers there as a 9th grader and trying to grow up and trying to find my place in the world. So I added a mystery into that. And there's a lot. It's not autobiographical at all. It's not a memoir, but certain people inspired certain characters. So in high school, so when I moved here, San Luis Obispo is a small town. Mm-hmm. There was just one high school, except for the private Catholic school. So people were already in their cliques, and I'm coming in as an outsider. And I had a lot of trouble trying to fit in because they'd all gone to school from kindergarten on up. And here I come from Southern California. And so it was rough. But there was another gal in my school who was even more of an outcast than I was. And that character, people kind of shunned her. She dressed differently. She looked like she'd come out of some kind of like Gothic fantasy or something, or some bohemian type of and so people it's so important to fit in, and she just wasn't fitting in. And maybe that was okay with her, I don't know. But I felt like, ooh, there's something about her. What is it? And I kind of wanted my imagination to fill in a story about who is she and what's she about. And so she inspires one of the main characters in my book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the main character, who is interested in who she is, and she's come into the town and she's this different person. But my main character has a brother who was inspired by my half brother, who is severely disabled. So there's a severely disabled little boy in this book that I based on my half brother, which I didn't have my half brother until I was 33, because my dad remarried someone much younger, and then they had this little boy. So as an adult, I watched this little boy growing up and saw what his world was about. So he inspired, and the book is dedicated to him. He's completely he's nonverbal. He's now in an institution, but he he's so precious in so many ways. And so I just wanted to weave him into the story. He's one of my favorite characters. So those were the things that all came together to create this world that is really a fictionalized Avila Beach. And if people are familiar with the Central Coast of California, they'll recognize when I say San Sebastian University, it's really Cal Poly. Cal Poly, I can see Cal Poly from my window.
I mean, it's a beautiful. I mean, the last time I was up in the I think it was San Luis Obispo, I went to a concert with Chris Young on the beach.
Okay, yeah.
That was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. It was a great concert. I took my mother there. No, it was before 5 years because my mother passed 6 years ago. So probably about 7 years ago. But it's gorgeous. It was a sunset concert. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, I bet it was. And we have a lot of different beaches, and a lot of people from the Central Valley come to Pismo Beach. Pismo Beach is a very long stretch of beach. So I had so much to draw from to create this world, and really it's and the cover is the coastline of, it's kind of the coastline of Avila, and the pier is like right here. So
is that a dove? Is that a dove behind the right?
Well, it's a bird that is it's a mythical bird called a caladrius, and it figures into the story because the newcomer to the town, who is from the Soviet Union, because back in 1971 the Cold War tensions were pretty strong here in San Luis Obispo, and this particular gal from my high school had a Russian last name. And I'm thinking that was one reason she was she was shunned a little bit. She was Russian, and we were very much at that time we even have in San Luis Obispo, we had a transcontinental cable for emergencies in case there was a nuclear. I mean, it's part of the kind of on the fringes, but it created a shadow of the Cold War. So this character that comes in, her name is Raven. And all the rumors about her is that she's a KGB spy, or there's something about her that feeds into their Cold War sort of tensions. And then the caladrius is kind of like the contrast to that. It's a white mythical bird, and it represents healing. So it kind of weaves in with the other, And I got my props here for all of the lovely people who are part of our conversation. But I had this little bookmark made that shows the caladrius. It's a white bird here.
Did you make that?
I had a friend make it.
Very nice.
It was really fun to do that. So that's part of the mystery, is the bird. Part of the mystery is who is Raven, and part of the mystery is who's behind all the crimes that are happening in the town. So there's a lot of crime going on.
Going back to the props, I keep looking behind you. Can you just give us a little rundown of what you have behind you?
Yeah, I thought it might be fun to do this.
I love it, because I don't, like I said before we went live, I've never seen this, so I'm intrigued. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can just go one by one of what you have there.
Okay, I can do that. And okay, thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. And to help with creativity, those of you out there who are writers, we often will pull up pictures, or we pull up things that we can look at that inspire us. So I would have this little card. It's just a card, but it's got a pier. You can probably see there's a pier, because the opening of the book starts with Raven at the end of the pier. So the first chapter is this pier, and it's based on the Avila Beach pier. So this was sort of one inspiration here.
Now, is that a hand-painted card that you had done specifically to represent your book, or is one you found?
I found it.
Nice.
I know. I loved it. I know. Isn't it great? Yeah, okay. I love that. And then I had this picture from a calendar that has a Ferris wheel, because the climax of the story occurs during a carnival on the beach. That's where everything comes together. So the Ferris wheel figures prominently in the story. It's very exciting. One of my favorite scenes is when they're up on the Ferris wheel at night. Yeah. So and it was right here on the beach. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's the perfect picture with an ocean.
That's right there.
I know. I thought it was great. And then the flowers. There's a lot about flowers. The character Raven wears a lot of flowers in her hair. And so that figures as well prominently because the main character's name is Eden. So Eden will see flower petals and she'll know that Raven was there because Raven's got flowers and the petals are falling from her hair.
Okay.
So that's part of that. The Volkswagen Beetle.
Oh, I miss those cars.
My husband actually had, this is why we have this, because he had for, I think he had it for 30 years or 40 years. He had a 1972 Volkswagen Beetle, green, just like this.
Nice car. I miss those cars.
I know. He had it just until recently. In fact, our first date was in the
Did
Volkswagen.
you ever play punch buggy in the car with the kids?
Did you do that?
If you saw, we call them a punch buggy. If you saw a punch buggy, you would punch the person next to you.
That's hilarious. I don't remember doing that's
we
great.
Still play. Me and my husband, if we happen to spot one, he punches me real quick. Punch buggy.
I didn't know that game. I didn't know it.
I loved it.
Oh, that's hilarious. So Eden's father drives. He's a professor at Cal Poly or at San Sebastian, and he drives a 1972 Volkswagen Beetle, which was what my husband had. So that's what this one is about.
I love the color.
Yeah. And then I had, I have this, which is a bookmark, just a very nice bookmark. If anybody, whoever, when we do the giveaway, they get a bookmark. They'll get the bookmark.
Perfect.
So that was that. And then so the town, I don't call it Avila Beach. It's called Hartford. It's called Hartford Beach. And it's set in the 70s before Avila Beach right now is very touristy. But in the 70s, it was a funky, sleepy, dumpy little town. Nobody really went there. And so I lived there for a year, and you get to know the locals, and you get to know all the fishermen that go out on the pier, and you get to know the people sitting around drinking, and the old guys would come in. So there was a real culture that I loved. It was so, it's lost now because it's now a money-making tourist.
Yeah.
But in my story, that it's the old Avila Beach, and they're a bunch of crusty fishermen. They play poker. Eden likes to go and play poker with them. So I have my poker cards. These are my poker cards up here.
Cool.
Yeah. I have a couple of that.
I really do. And when the reader gets to the certain scene, if they've seen this, it's like I said, it's going to just stick with them. Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah, I love that.
So the poker cards that she has, her family has broken apart, and she's trying to cobble together a family for herself. So the fishermen have kind of taken her under their wing, and she gets to hang out with them a lot. So they teach her how to play poker, and she's always awful. She always loses all her money, and then they always pony it back to her for the next round. It's just a nice relationship she starts to develop with the local characters of the town.
See, I have no idea how to play poker. So I'd have to research that if I was going to write about poker. Do you play poker?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Wow.
I loved it. I mean, the penny, you put your pennies in. It's not like,
I have no idea how to play poker.
It's a lot.
Before we continue the book, I do want to just take a little break and see who's joining us. Again, I'm going to talk about your pen name too. I am talking to Cate Touryan, and her birth name is Ann Newman. We'll ask about her names, but I do want to see who is joining us. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, and I will get to as many as I can. But I'll pop some names up for you. We have Carol here. She says hello. I'm going back to the beginning of the chat. Bear with me. And then we have Virgie. Hi, Virgie. We have Karen. She says hello. And she also says happy book birthday. Could you just celebrate it?
Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you.
So cool. Yeah. Whitney is here. She says hello. This is early in the conversation. I'm just putting up some comments. Carol says hardback with a dust jacket is her favorite. Belinda is here. Hi, Belinda. Thank you for joining us. It's growing down. And then when you were talking about how critical you were with your book, she says we often are harder on our lawyers, on ourselves and anyone else. And I think I am too. I think it's a good thing. I do. Belinda also says happy book birthday.
Thank
As
you.
I see questions, I'm going to pop them up because I'll never find them again. It might be off topic, but Karen has a question for you. She would like to know, you talk about your characters. Do they talk to you while you're writing? Or did they while you were writing?
Did my characters talk to me? Only when they weren't behaving and I asked them why.
That's a good one. I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Getting back to your book and writing, do you consider yourself a pantser or a plotter? Did you plot the book out from beginning to end, or did you just sit down and begin to write?
I consider myself a panicster, which means
panicster. That's a good one. I like it.
Which means that I usually like just launch into the story. I don't really have any plan. I'm just seized with the story and the imagination, and I'm going, and then all of a sudden I'm in the middle and I'm like, what? I don't know what to do next. Where do I go? What's gonna happen? How do I get to my end? And panic, complete panic sets in. Will I ever figure out what in the world I was trying to do? Don't know.
But you get there eventually. You get there.
Eventually.
I mean, the last book I just wrote, I had that issue too. I didn't know where the book was going. I had no idea where it was going. And my characters talk to me. It's the only way I can write a book. If they're quiet, I can't write. And I was at this point in the book, like you, it just was quiet. There was no one in my head, nothing. I'm like, hello, I'm waiting. I just walk away because if they're not talking to me, why am I sitting here?
Of course. I mean, really, if you're not going to cooperate, then what do you expect me to do?
Yeah, and I just leave it up to and I've said it before in my chats. I might not like what a character does or agree with it, but it's not my story. It's theirs. And I'm really adamant about telling my character stories. It doesn't matter if I like it or not. And in the end, it's okay, now I know why you did that. Why couldn't you just tell me that up front? We wouldn't have to do
Of course. I know.
Yeah, I do. I like it that they talk to me. And it's like I just finished a book, and there will be a book 4. But Stacy, one of the characters, is already talking to me about the next book, and I'm like, I'm closing the drapes. I am not ready. Go away. Just go.
That's so great. That's so
I'm not ready. Just leave me alone. You know. So I get where you're at. But so, what do you do when you get to that point where you just stopped?
Yes, I take very long walks. I walk about 4 miles every day, and I do a lot
4
of my
miles?
well, writing in my head. I mean, I'm going through things in my head, so I use like that hour or that hour and that half to sit there and figure out maybe they could do this. Well, what if they did that? What if you just were? I'm just trying to. I feel like a lot of my writing just happens here more than here. And I also have a very good developmental editor who happens to be my daughter, and she has dug me out of a lot of holes.
I love that your daughter is your editor.
She is my editor. Yes. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Perfect.
I know. Yes.
I hope you got a family discount.
It actually worked the other way. Mom, I'm your daughter. Hand it over.
That is awesome. So does she do editing for books, novels, texts? What does she do?
Yes, she does. One of my contracts was with UC Berkeley's editing certificate program. So I created and taught the basic first class for the certificate, which is grammar, punctuation, mechanics, word usage. She took the whole program, and the rest of the courses are developmental editing. There's a lot more to it than just the copy editing.
Right.
So she went through it and she got the certificate. And then she's helped several others. She's worked for several other authors as well. But with me, she really made the book almost like it was hers too. She had a real personal vested interest in the book. And she could see things that I couldn't see. I don't know how you are, Tina, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't see that. She would say things like, Mom, this hasn't happened yet. You can't say that. And I would be like, but it happened here. Well,
Yeah,
it's not in the book.
we have like a tunnel vision when it comes to our books.
Yes.
And I mean, for me, I read them the way I want them to be read. And there's a lot of things that one of the things I do is I repeat certain phrases because I like that phrase. So I'll use it over and over and over. And I get it pointed out. Like, you already said that like 10 times already. Let's put something else in here. But there's things like that. But yeah, you definitely, no matter how far along you're as an author, whether it's your first book, your 20th book, you always need another set of eyes on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Before it goes public. And that's where also an art team comes into play, where they're very helpful. Like, I have an art team right now reading my book, and they would point out things to me before it's even published. So the more eyes on your book before it's published, I think the better. And you also have to take if there's any critique, take it as a learning critique, not as an insult to your work or an insult to your book. They're giving you information that they think will benefit you.
Exactly.
And that's where you have to. And I look at reviews like that too. I might get a bad review, and I understand the bad review if you tell me why. If you tell me why, and you have a good reason why you didn't enjoy my book or whatever, great. Thank you for telling me why. I learned something. But if you just go and say, I hated this book, blah, 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 I want to know why. Don't just say that and then walk away. That really riles me. I want great. I mean, our books aren't for everybody.
Exactly.
But if you're going to leave a 1, 2 star review, at least have the courtesy to explain why.
I absolutely agree. Agree. I mean, the reviews are to help readers decide if this is a book that will resonate with them and if it's one that they want to read. So it's not helpful just to say nothing but I didn't like it, or it was. I mean, it's just like, but that doesn't help anybody make an informed decision.
Was it because there's no plot? Was it because you didn't like the characters? Was it because you didn't like the ending? Was it because it was too slow? Was it too boring? Didn't move fast enough? Just give us a little detail, and we can learn from that.
Exactly, or it even can be something like, I read this review. It wasn't my book. It was somebody else's. It was a review of someone else's book, and they just said, I just don't really like coming of age books. And that's fair. You don't have to like them. And I thought, well, at least she explained to this author, for a coming of age book, it was okay, but it's just not my thing to read. And that's fine. We all have our personal likes and our personal tastes.
And if it's grammar, spelling, we need to know, because then we need to let our editors know.
Yeah.
Hey, you're supposed to catch this. Speaking of which, with your daughter being your editor, was there any kind of friction with you guys working together, or was it just great?
We had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun, but we also had a very different way of seeing 1971 because she was born in the 90s. So the 71 is actually historical for her.
That's great. Right? I still had that in my head. And in fact, real quick, I'm at the point where we were talking about that in the comments, and I got a few here. One's from Lori. She says, hysterical, that's hysterical. And then a few more below. Karen, she said, this is way back in the chat. This is crazy that 70s and 80s. Yes. I can't believe it.
I can't either.
And it's like, I guess too, because, and look what Carol wrote up here. She says, I'm feeling old right now. But I think about the radio and the classic radio station, it is all the songs I love from the 70s and 80s. And now it's a classic. It's like, really?
I know. I'm feeling it. I feel the same way, Carol.
Yeah, I mean, I know all the songs. I sing them in my car. Any music today, I have no clue what it is. Absolutely.
I'm right there. Yeah, I know. I only know what, because of my daughters being younger, whatever music they're playing, I might hear that. But I feel the same way. And I do have some, you'll see in the book, well, you'll see it when I read it, because I do bring some, you'll recognize the artists, the rock songs when I read this.
Good.
You'll know. But yeah, we did have some real differences of opinion. So here is a hilarious example. So when I was 14 in 1971, growing up, we called these things right here thongs. Okay?
Thongs.
We called these thongs. So I used that term in the book because it's in the 1970s. And my daughter,
that's what you have to do. Yeah.
She read that and she just turned bright red. And she said, Mom, you can't say thongs.
But that's what it was back then.
Because thongs are the underwear that they wear to.
What are they? I mean, I would call that a flip flop. What is that?
Except that flip-flop wasn't used. We researched every single word. I tried flip-flop. They said, no, that word wasn't used back in 1971. Beachcomber, no, that word wasn't. We did so much research, and the word that always came up was thongs. These are thongs. So we went back and forth and back and forth. So finally I said, okay, I'll change it. I'll put flip-flop. Then my proofreader, who was not my daughter, I had a proofreader, she wrote in the margin, these were not called flip-flops. These were called thongs.
So who won? What did we
And I told my daughter, I said, that does it. They're thongs. It's going back to thongs. It's thongs.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, it's fun to go back and reminisce on the 70s. I wrote a novella from when I was a young child in the 70s.
Uh-huh.
And I had so much fun going back, thinking of the music, the posters we had on the wall in the bedroom. And then the one that got me the most was there was no cell phones. I had to keep remembering that people had change in their pockets and used their phone booth. Well, we called them a phone box in England. So I'm from England. Mm-hmm. So I had to stay in the English terms. Mm-hmm. But just reminiscing on how things are so much different. I'd love to go back there and just stay there.
I know. It was such a great time. I love that time so much. How old were you, Tina, when you came to the States? How old were you?
I came here in 79. I was 16 or 17.
So you did most of your teenage growing up over there.
I did all my schooling, everything in England, and then a year later, I moved to the States.
Okay.
And I should write about a book. I should write a book about the language barrier I had. Coming to this country was just insane. I mean, I speak English, of course, but the meaning of some of the words, it's just ridiculous. I mean, one example, I'll just say it real quick, is that I got off a plane in San Francisco. Back then I smoked and I asked, is there any fag machines here? Totally wrong word. But I had so many scenarios like that where the language barrier
it's so funny.
Just crazy.
So funny.
I want to go through a few more comments, and then we are going to have a treat, and you're going to read to us. Mm-hmm. So let me just go through a few of the covers real quick because I'm way behind on comments here. Elaine Sapp is here. She says hello, and she loves your book cover.
Thank you. I love it too.
Scrolling down real quick. Virgie Lane says she had a red Beetle. I love those cars. I had a problem. I have long legs with the leg room in the front.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of leg room.
No.
Lori says she's never heard of the punch buggy game. It's a fun game. It really was. You just punch somebody if you call punch buggy. Oh, Karen's heard of it. She loved that game. And then Virgie's grandkids played it. It's a great game. It's a funny game.
Oh my gosh, that's
sometimes they had actual bruises when they get out.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, depends how hard you hit. Let me scroll down real quick. Karen says she loves your display and explanation of each piece of the
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm going to go to Lori's question after the reading. So I'm going to hand it over to you, and we'll listen to you read.
Okie doke. I will do that. I'm going to read about just half of the first chapter. And again, I do have the audiobook, and that is narrated by a professional who's got part of the book, which also makes it cross genre a little bit, is that the main character Eden is from Texas. So she has a Southern accent, and my narrator in the audiobook does that very beautifully. It's a very subtle Southern accent, which I'm not going to try to do here, but the audiobook does have that. And there's a lot of, I have a lot of characters in the book who are here from Mexico, and my narrator just happens to speak Spanish very well. So she does a beautiful accents, Spanish accents when she does the Mexican characters. But, and I knew I could never do those accents, which is why I hired somebody to do that. So this will be a lot less entertaining, but I'm happy to read this. So chapter 1, and it'll be just like, I think it's going to go right up to, let's see where it is, right here. Okay. She stood at the far end of the pier, sun-spangled skirts billowing and scarves whipping. raised her arms above the sea, and vanished, just as the rumors said. Lord Almighty! Battling a churn of waves and the stink of rotted kelp, I tightened my grip on Hollis and stared, mouth like a codfish. Lordy! Oh, Lord! Will you hurry up, Eden? Hollis reeled beneath the surge. How many oh Lord you gonna say? Get to the prayer already. The usual fisher folk, most slouched against the slatted railing, paid the spectral girl no mind, eyes cocked on slack lines, or shuddered in sleep. But I'd seen her, the glint of dawn on her bangles, the summer shimmer of raven hair. And then I didn't. Hollis, being partially dunked when she took flight, missed it all. The prayer, he sputtered, but he didn't wait, plunging backward of his own accord and nearly slipping from my grasp. Having made it to 17 on the strength of infant christening, Hollis no more wanted to be Baptist than did a perfect heathen, indulging me only out of pity and resignation. Took to mid-July before he finally hollered uncle. You missed it, I bellowed, a breaker rocking us both. My rolled-up jeans sagged with salt water as I squinted across the swells, my sinner's prayer having taken flight along with Raven. I was in danger of losing my pants and Hollis, but the rapid retreat of frothy waves meant he didn't have far to fall. Without letting go his neck, I scanned the narrow wooden pier, the far ocean, the crimson horizon. Fog clung to the eastern bluffs, hugged the coastline. I could just make out a sailboat mast, the lazy bob of buoys. The bicker of two fishermen caught my ear as they ambled down the weathered deck, their buckets slapping against tattered overalls. A few others stared out to sea, reeled in empty lines, recast. But I saw no trace of the teenage wraith who, 2 minutes before, had hovered at the outmost edge, leaning into the wind like the witch on the Cutty Shark, or Cutty Snark, whatever the Clipper's ship name, like a figurehead anyhow. A trick of the sun? The angle of the pier? Or had she done it? Had she jumped? Mercy's sake, I hoped not. She'd been bullied enough, that was a fact. Or were the rumors true? Had she turned into Lord Almighty? It bore repeating and allowed Hollis a gulp of air before a second dunk. Taking the Lord's name in vain was a serious offense, I knew, and now that I meant to be a missionary to the Aucas in Ecuador, I believed it too. Mama used to threaten my mouth with soap when I so much as whispered, "Cheese," saying to my alarmed face, comes from the Son of God's name, just like Jehoshaphat, and Jiminy. And so did, as I learned later through further threats of scented lather, golly and gosh come from God, and darn and dang from damnation. That was during our Texas heyday, before my father shanghaied us to the Golden State, all but Dex, that is, and then ditched us. The start of a new life, he'd said, or a return to his old one, as it turned out, back to his stomping grounds and the home of Tricky Dick, our newly elected United States president. Didn't take but 6 months on the sun-kissed coast till my father packed up, making good on his promise. Dex comes, I go. Even though Mama no longer bothered with my mouth, no longer bothered with me, now that Dex had come home from the institution, the nights filled with screams and sobs and lullabies, I'd sworn off swearing. Only in the direst circumstances did I utter irreverence, and then only with the word condemnation, the second syllable said with gusto and a slight vowel shift, a word straight from the good book. These outbursts often met with a peculiar look, but never a mouth-washing. On occasion, a heartfelt imploration to the Almighty might likewise cross my lips. Anyway, Reverend Travers had cleansed my soul more than any bar of soap could do. If Hollis hadn't been flailing under my grasp, he'd have cussed too, at me for nearly drowning him. Most like he was cussing, right there under the waves, if the frenzied eruption of bubbles was any indication. Reverend Travers hadn't gotten to him yet, but I was working on it. He righted himself. You done yet? For Pete's sakes, you can't baptize yourself. Now I gotta do it again, proper this time. When you said you'd get me through the pearly gates, I didn't think you meant today. Ooh, just let me pray. Oh, Lord, I began, a rogue wave near toppling me. I baptize this sinner, Hollis Sweet, who, pricked mightily in conscience, pitifully invokes your divine mercy and grace, and who does, on pain of death, swear to reform his wicked ways. You do, don't ya? I had to assume a burbled assent. Cleanse him of his many grievous sins and lead him not into temptation. I dunked him a final time. Holy smokes, Scoot, that sure beats sprinkling. He shook free of my grip, salt water streaming from his matted hair, rubbed his nose ferociously, and grinned. Those alpacas don't know what they got coming. Hollis Sweet never got mad, even when he swore. That infuriated me to no end, but I was too distracted to chide him, or, for that matter, to inform him that alpacas were Armenian sheep, not an Ecuadorian tribe. It's true, I squinted at the pier. Yep, you told me already. Infant baptism by sprinkling can't wash away sins. They gotta be drowned. He plodded through the water towards shore, shaking his head and poking a finger in his ear. Yanking up my pants, I splashed noisily after him. A white bird circled above us, its cry brassy. Hollis, look, a goose! Well, bless my drenched soul, must be a sign from heaven. He tossed a windblown Snickers wrapper into the trash. And it's an egret. Even when he tried to be sarcastic, Hollis beamed sweet as a saint on a cathedral window. Fitting, considering his last name and his Roman Catholic roots. As good-natured as he was, I wondered if he really had all that many sins to drown. Well, I'll be tarnated. You were expecting a dove? I kicked sand over his foot. Suppose not all of it's true, then. You mean I almost died for nothing, without salvation? It's her I'm talking about, Hollis. We reckoned she turned into a raven, but maybe she can take on any shape, even a goose. Snowy egret. I stared with wonder and new appreciation as the white bird flapped toward a clanging buoy. Well, bird or human, she's behind the mayhem. I bet those rumors are true. Aren't rumors a sin? Sure they are, lest they're true. We reached our beach towels and set about mopping ourselves dry, Hollis wringing water from his cutoffs. Tucking his towel around his waist, he grabbed his fishing rod and empty bait bucket. Listen here, Eden, I gave up the best fishing of the day for my salvation. It better all be true. Besides, there's rumors about you too. What rumors? My breath caught. Can't say what I don't hear. With that, he let loose a funky whistle sounding suspiciously like I heard it through the grapevine. Aggravating me with Marvin Gaye, he headed across the beach, his low-top chucks sloshing. I scrambled after him, my own shoes tracking his, my jacket flapping with wings of its own. Not much for hearing folks talk. Hollis wasn't much for talking about folks either, so I kept my musings to myself, swatting at a cloud of flies. And what I was musing was that maybe she was a witch, just like they said. Better a witch than the sister of a half-wit, even if it wasn't charitable to listen to rumor. And rumor was that we had Soviet spies in our midst.
Wow, I love it. And you did great with the accent. You
did.
did really well. Thank you
She
so much.
was great. You'll love her when she reads it. She does a really good job.
No, it sounds really. Do you want a sip of water? You were reading for a while. You
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
Sip of water. I'm going to put up a question, and I'll get down to the comments about your reading too. You said this book took a while to read. When you were writing, how much time did you spend writing? Did you write daily, or just when the mood struck you? Did you have a writing pattern at all, or schedule?
Some chapters were easier than others. Obviously, some things came very naturally. Other things were very, very tricky. Some things took more research. And I think what I like to do when I'm writing, my process for writing is I'll write the chapter, and then I'll go back and layer the chapter, and then I'll layer the chapter. I'll layer the
different.
Yeah, and then I'll go to another chapter, and then I'll do that, because I can't, for whatever reason, I don't want to leave a chapter in my mind unfinished. I feel like, okay, I have the skeleton. I want to go back and I want to put in more flesh, and I want to.
So you do the fill as you're writing.
Yeah, I do the fill as I'm writing, and I think that momentum is what keeps me. And then and the next morning when I get up and I go back and I look at that chapter and I see it kind of with fresh eyes, then I don't feel like screaming and pulling out my hair because it's so bad. I feel like, okay, that's workable. I can keep going on from that.
Mine's a mess. It's a complete mess when I get done with the book. It is horrible. But I'm completely opposite you. I keep writing and I don't reread anything I've written.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I can do that.
If it takes me like 6 or 7 months to finish the book, I have not read chapter 1 in 6 or 7 months.
That's incredible. I don't think I could do that. I
think do what you do, because if I go back, it's like, oh, I start critiquing myself. Yes. So for me, I just keep going. But you're the opposite. You have to stop and fill it in. Yeah. I love how authors write differently.
We are so different. I feel the same way. I think if I tried to do what you were doing, I think I would be so lost about. I think I wouldn't hold my voice. I just feel like I have to go back and listen to the voice again and listen to the characters again. And I don't know. I think I might start out sounding one way, and then I might end up a different way if I don't go back and remember what it was I was sounding.
That's a possibility, but I know when I get to the end of this, this is a bloody mess. But I'll fix it.
See, that's the difference. You have the attitude that says, I can work with this. My attitude would be like, I'm burning it now.
I just love hearing the different methods. So, Lori, thanks for that question. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. We answered Lori's question about the pen still. I'm just scrolling down real quick. Oh, this is an interesting question from Lori. I'm going to put it up. It's a rather long question. Even though you have an impressive resume in writing, I'll bet they're all different. Could you elaborate?
The types of writing, is that the question? Yeah. Very, very different. Yes. Yes. Business writing, technical writing, college level, academic writing, all of them are very different, and they all have certain conventions you follow for the discipline. So you're absolutely right. Creative writing, fiction writing is so different from all of that.
Yeah,
even in terms of like punctuation. I'm not just talking about content, but even what you can get away with in creative writing fiction that you would never want to do in technical writing or business writing. They are so different. And so is even creative nonfiction. So I write a lot of creative nonfiction essays. And those are kind of their own thing too. So you're absolutely right. You kind of have to learn the conventions and traits and genre and tropes for everything that you're doing. Yes.
Do you have a favorite?
Say a favorite type of writing?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite at all?
Oh, I love fiction, and I love creative nonfiction. I only went into business writing and technical writing and academic writing because I needed a job that paid. And I was at a point where, yeah. So also I'm very good in grammar. I'm a copy editor.
Have you ever done screenwriting?
No, I haven't done screenwriting. That's one I haven't done. Have you done it, Tina?
No, and I don't know if I can. I mean, nothing to be critical about. I understand why they have to do it, but they cut so much out.
Yes, it's so different.
They cut so much out, and they just focus on the focal point of the story, of course.
Right.
But my dad was an author, and MGM bought the rights to his book, and they wrote a screenplay. They didn't do anything with it for 3 years, but Anyways, it was an honor that they did that. But when Dad read it, he's like, "No, this isn't my book," is what he said. But yeah,
It's so
I
different.
couldn't do it because I just want the reader to get the full story, I
I know.
guess.
Mhm.
So if you try it, let me know. I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't think I could. It strips it down just to the bare bones.
Yeah,
It allows the actors and actresses do all of the rest of the filling in. And I
exactly.
want that. I don't want them to have that job.
Yeah. And of course, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and of course, you're watching the screenplay, so you have the description right there with the movie. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's still like, nah, I can't do this one.
Yeah.
No, I'll just stick to writing my books. Let me see. I'm going to scroll down. Oh, here we go from Carol. She would like to know, your daughter has obviously read your book. Has any other family members read your book? Other
Yes.
family members?
Yes. My husband has read the book. He likes to say he's not a reader. He always says to me, "Can I wait till the movie comes out?"
I said that too. I said, you got a long wait.
I know. So he was a dutiful husband, and he read the book. He also listened. He also listened to the audiobook. My sister. So yes, I have had some of my family members.
I love it. Okay, another one regarding your personal life. Belinda wants to know if you have any pets.
Oh, we've had dogs for 30 years. And we just had our last one was a Yorkshire Terrier, and she was 16 years old, and we had to put her down.
I'm sorry.
Which was so sad. Yeah, we've had dogs I love dogs. We've had them for 30 years, like I said. But my oldest daughter lives in London, and my younger daughter, the editor, lives in Vienna. So we are traveling constantly to London and to Vienna, and it makes it really hard. So that's why we haven't gotten another.
That makes sense.
We haven't gotten another dog. So yeah, but I love my dogs. And there's a very important dog in the story too. We have a dog.
I love stories with pets. And then going back to your book, Belinda wants to know if you have a favorite character in your book.
Yeah, I do. Whenever I think of each character, they become my favorite in that moment, and I'm like, oh, I like that character so much. Probably my favorite character, I would say. Well, I think one of the most endearing characters is named Jake. He's an older fisherman, and actually, Jake and his sister Anna are two of the oldest fishermen, and they kind of take Eden under their wing. And I have a little prequel short story. I'll show you the picture of when they were children, this brother and sister, and it takes place in 1910 in the same setting. And it's called The Gulch Run Gangster. The Gulch Run Gangster is when Jake is about 11 years old and his sister Anna is about maybe 9 years old. And they have this incident that happens. It's a free short story, by the way. It's a prequel and it's free. If you go to my website, when you go to my website, if you subscribe to the newsletter, which is supposed to be quarterly, but I'm lucky if I get it out 4 times a year. It's maybe 3 times a year, but you can get the audiobook of The Gulch Run Gangster, or you can actually get the actual access to it. So it's free, but it goes back to 1910 in Hartford Beach, and it shows Jake and Anna as children, and something happens that creates a really strong bond. So by the time you get to the book, they're in their late 70s, but they're very close because of this particular bond. So I think probably Jake is one of my.
What is your website?
Oh, it's just my name, www.Cate, it's Cate with a C, Cate Touryan, TOURYAN.com. So it's just my name, CateTouryan.com.
I told you I'd find the ones when you were reading the comments, and here's one from Lori. She says, I definitely want to read your book, so descriptive. Thanks for the reading. So
thank you so much, Laura.
In the comments, Karen says, wow.
Thank you, Karen.
I kind of get lost sometimes. And then we also have a now, wow, love it. And then Ashley says, who is it? Here it is. She says, I loved it. Absolutely amazing reading.
Thank you, Ashley.
Carol says, another book on my TBR.
Thank you.
And then a few more. Belinda says, love the reading. Elaine
Thank
says, fabulous reading.
Thank you, Elaine.
And one more. Here we go. Carla Brown says, that was awesome. Thank you. You know, I get really surprised how quick these hours go by because I have to wrap it up in like 5 minutes. I could talk to you for much longer. But if I don't keep it under 5, I can't share it on certain platforms. But before we wrap this up, I want to ask you real quick, is this a standalone or is there going to be a book too?
I meant it as a standalone, but I've had many people say that they want to know what happens because it's it's a little bit of an open ending. There's some things that are not resolved, but I did mean it as a standalone. So it's not out of the question completely, but I'm not planning on doing another one. So
if you get enough requests, you'll start it.
Yes, see, that's the other thing. I'm waiting. You guys, those of you who are going to read it, please tell me. Let me know. Say, yeah, I think you should. You know, I like this character. I want that. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, let the readers let you know what they want. And they will do that. They will let you know.
I like that.
The other thing too is, can you let the readers know where they can find your book?
Yeah, you can find my book. It's on Amazon. And it's Audible. All of them are going to be on Amazon. You can see them there, but it's Barnes & Noble online. It's probably not in Barnes & Noble in the actual building, but you can get it online on Barnes & Noble, on Amazon. The dust jacket you can get from me if you're interested in the dust jacket, because I get it from my publisher, because the dust jacket is bought by bookstores. So you could go into a bookstore and say, could you get the dust jacket of this, and they can order it and they can get it, or a library. So all of those options.
Perfect. And we discussed this: audio, ebook, paperback, hardback. Hardback only from you. It's not listed on any of the sites.
The hardback, the laminate is on Amazon. But the dust jacket you can get from me. Yes.
That's a nice gift for somebody. It is.
I know, isn't it?
Oh, yes. You are generously doing a giveaway. So can you let us know what the giveaway is?
Yeah, I am going to give away a signed. I'll give away a signed paperback with the bookmark in it for whoever wants to read the book. And I think I'm going to give 3 Audible codes if anybody is interested in the audiobook.
Yeah, you can reach out to Cate under either Cate Touryan or your birth name, Ann Newman, and say you are interested in the audio. The first 3 that reach out to her, she'll give you a code to listen to it for free, to download.
Yeah, it's for free. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to discuss, can you stay on after the live? I want to discuss how we're going to pick the winner.
Okay.
The other thing too is I am going to be doing my regular giveaway, which is the $5 Amazon gift card, but I have issues now. Facebook has changed the ways of how you can see people share. A lot of times when my videos are shared, it doesn't show me who shared. And that is how I normally see who picks a winner, those who shared the video or in the drawing. So now I cannot see who shared the video. I am still doing the giveaway. The only thing I ask is that you just message me and say you shared the video. It'll pop up on my feed, but I can no longer click on who shared to see who shared. So we are doing the $5 Amazon gift card. You just need to message me and say you shared the video. I'll try and get that out as much as we can. And before we sign off, thank you so much for joining us. It's been so much fun. Do you have any last words?
I just was going to say that my last name is an Armenian last name, Touryan. It's my mother's maiden name. And the reason I took a pen name is that there's already a best-selling author named Ann Newman with my exact spelling.
I thought the name sounded familiar. Thank you for clarifying that. That makes a lot of sense because I didn't get to that question in the chat. Yeah. So I'm glad you explained that. Yeah. And I like the name.
That's my middle name is Kathleen. So Cate with a C. And,
it's perfect.
Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you for your lovely words.
And I'll announce the winner in the group. Everyone enjoy your night. Thank you.
Thank you.